Hello, everybody. How are we doing tonight? Tonight is the first official episode of So What's So Funny. So, tonight I'm going to share with you guys the story of how this all began, how the journey officially started, of how I decided to even go on stage, and how I even decided that that was even going to become a thing. But, sorry about that. Before we begin, disclaimer, I never thought I was going to go on stage. That was not ever something in my cosmos, I would say, ever. So, gonna just put that right out there. So I guess when I was younger, I always wanted to be an actor. And when we were going way young, we were going like middle school and high school. I always wanted to be an actor, and then I was told later that was gonna be too hard of a thing to pull off. It wasn't feasible. It wasn't something that was possible. I'm like, okay, fine. I kind of gave that dream up. And then I did the job that I have now, which is home health care aide. Cool. A friend of mine, Ken Bustler, who is West Side Ken, we went to see his very first show. Not his first show, I should say. It was my first comedy show. So I wanted to go support him. Great. And at the time, Monty, which I didn't know who he was, but that's when I first met Monty, who actually was filling in for Nancy. Again, at the time I didn't know who these people were, but now I do, which is why I'm referring to them by name. And I started talking to Monty, and immediately after I talked to Monty, Monty goes, you really haven't this je ne sais quoi, if you will, to talking to people. You should really go on stage. This is all before the show even begins. And I'm hearing that. I look at Monty like Monty has 2 extra heads growing out of his shoulders. Like, I'm looking at him like, you're crazy, dude. I don't actually say that to Monty, but I'm like, I look at him like he's crazy. But I'm like, respectively, like, okay, like, I'll look into it. At the time, I wasn't going to look into it, and I'm not gonna lie, I was not gonna look into it. I'm like, me, a comedian, I'm not funny. I'm funny looking, maybe, and I think I actually did say that. I'm like, I'm funny looking, maybe. I'm a 5'3", at the time, 200-pound Asian. I have blue hair. I wear dorky glasses. I dress like Bluey. I don't have a stage presence. I don't think that I would be a comedian. The closest thing to being a comedian is I watch a very unhealthy amount of Jeff Dunham and American Dad by Seth MacFarlane. But I don't think I'm funny enough to be on stage. But again, as Monty put it, I have a je ne sais quoi with people, and I'm very good at talking to people. And if you actually have the heart for it, you could do it. So again, it was like the second show I'd gone to, again, maybe the third, where he kind of said that again. And I really started taking the words to heart. It might have been the second or third show, if that. And I really started taking Monty's words to heart. And I finally had the courage to want to do the stage, because I'm not going to lie, I have really bad anxiety, and I think I've mentioned this to a few people, but I don't really make it known. Well, now I do, because I made it part of my act, which, again, it's not really an act. I do actually have really high anxiety, which is interesting, because I mentioned this to my roommate. I could go out in public, which I just came back from an Indians game, with 100 million people, it feels like, and want to unalive that part of the planet, and be inside my head and disassociate from the world and hate life. But when I'm doing a set on stage in front of people and being around my comedian friends, I'm at peace, I'm happy, I'm not anxious, which is the complete opposite that you would feel. You would probably feel anxious, nervous, and a wreck. And it's the complete opposite for the person who can't even go in public when they're going to a mall, when they're going to a baseball game. They can't do it. But I'm they because that's my pronouns. But for me, I can't do that. And it was insane that I can do these shows and feel so at peace and harmony with myself. And even if I'm not performing a set, I still feel that way. And every time I come back from a show, whether I'm performing in it or not, my roommate noticed too that I come back so hyped up. Like I just had a shot of like adrenaline and I feel great, and he noticed that, and I'm in a good mood, I'm happy, and it's like I just took a bunch of happy pills. And it's such a great feeling. And I'm like, how did that happen? How on earth did that happen? How did I end up feeling that great? How does the mind work like that, where I could be in front of a crowd of like 30 people or 10 people or 5 people, depending on how big the crowd is. But yeah, if I'm in a crowd of people with my service dog or at a baseball game, I want to unalive them. But if I'm performing, it's a completely different story. That's not how it should work. But that's how it works for me. So, lo and behold, now I have a couple more gigs coming up. And I hope there's plenty more. But that's how the beginning of my journey started. And my first open mic was July 2nd, 2025, which wasn't all that long ago. I originally started as Monty's roadie and I originally started as Jimmy Ward's roadie. I brought myself to shows. I just wanted to help out, and I liked it. And then I started bringing extension cords and my little bag here that I bring to every show now, which I enjoy. I start bringing my tripod with me that I'm currently recording. That's why it moved, because I was charging it and I moved my charger by accident. I very much enjoy it now, more than I did before, because I'm trying to be more active. Jimmy and Monty and all these people do not ask me to do the things I do. They do not ask me to end up being there as early as I come. Nobody asks me to do the things I do. I am naturally that nice, because I want to be, not because I have to be. You will learn that very quickly about me, that I'm naturally a nice person, and I come straight from my heart, that I'm just a nice person. I've gone through lots of shit. That's a completely different story. But yeah. And so I think that will show in my comic routine that that's just who I am. So that is pretty much the start of a hopefully amazing future. And you know, that open mic night, the very first start of being on stage for the very first time ever, when I got that very first laugh, which was, for those who weren't there, it was an introduction bit, and it was being in a polyamorous relationship with my fiance and my anxiety. And the first joke was saying, I am in an 8-year relationship with my fiance and a 24 relationship with anxiety. That first laugh I got, and I never told anybody, I told maybe one person or two. When I heard that first laugh, that first set of laughs, I almost stopped my entire set by accident, because I wanted to smile and cry, because it felt so good, and I had to stop myself, because I was like, shit, don't cry, and then I kept going. And it was great, and then I just kept going. So, I've already gone through my phase of, not having a great set, which wasn't by my fault. It was literally just a lot of things happening at once that just did not go as planned. I know there's going to be good days. I know there's going to be bad days. I was not unaware of that. I was told that by Nancy and Monty and Jimmy. It's going to happen. I knew what to expect. That also helps with my anxiety to know that things are going to be out of my control and not to do what I normally do, which is full-on panic. Which, again, it's going to happen. I'm going to panic anyway. Try telling somebody with anxiety not to panic. I think so far the people I've met have been fantastic. The places I've gone are fantastic. The advice I'm getting from people are fantastic. I'm kind of learning my own little shtick here and there. You know, for all the shows that I've done so far, which isn't many to begin with, I will always write new material. Although sometimes I do reuse my own material. I tend to try to make the shows different each time. That's just me personally. I know I will reuse some of my material no matter what, because I will. Because it's me. But, I do have so many things that I could say, do, and talk about. It's not funny, because my life is that much that I could be talking about. We haven't even scratched the surface on how much we could talk about. And I'm excited. We have so many things in my head that I have not even dissected. The notes that I have written down that I need to make hard copies of, haven't done that yet either. Because eventually I'll have a folder in here. Right now I have extension cords. I think I'm going to turn this into an actual backpack. Because technically speaking, this is actually my laptop bag that I kind of stole for myself. My extra laptop's sitting in my office. So I eventually need to get an actual backpack, not that thing. Because if I need my laptop for something, I got to take the extension cords out. I do that so my extension cords aren't laying in the back of my car during the work week. Because otherwise, my car is a mess, and then if I need to take my niece somewhere, I don't need a bunch of extension cords just laying in my car, and my niece getting a hold of them and trying to, do something dumb with them. Which she's not going to, but still, it's kind of a hazard to have them just laying around, because I have a big orange long one that's 10, 20-ish so feet. So that's just easier. Plus, I keep comics. I keep Carmen's comic, or cookbook in one, and then I keep another one that's going to be featured in a reel later on. By the way, the shorts are on YouTube. This will be on YouTube soon as I finish making it. So, look out for Carmen's, which should be on there already, and look out for the next one that I have not shown. I almost showed it on this video, which I didn't want to yet, because it's for another comedian who I did see that I met that will be featured in the next reel, which I don't want to give that comedian away yet. I almost said something I shouldn't have. Hopefully I will also benefit from showing off other things on this channel. I will say I did not come up with this idea on my own. Obviously, Jimmy Ward's Laugh Factory has their own YouTube channel to get my name out there more, to get better networking, I guess, if you will. I got the idea from Jimmy Ward's Laugh Factory, which have been a very big impact on giving me a chance to be on the stage. I just finally had my first 8-minute set in Geneva, Tuesday, so that was crazy, and I was very excited. So thank you, Jimmy Ward's Laugh Factory, Jimmy, Nancy, Nancy Abram has been amazing as well. She's giving me a chance. Thank you, Monty, who has been also an amazing host, an amazing mentor, the person who really was the one who really I know he doesn't probably see it that way, but he's the one that pushed me to even get on stage. If it wasn't for Monty, I wouldn't even be talking about this. I wouldn't even be doing this crap. I wouldn't be doing any of this. I would still be the little fan that's sitting in the audience, just watching. I wouldn't be doing any of this, and I love where this is taking me. I was actually at a concert last night, and I disassociated because I was so overwhelmed. I disassociated and started thinking about comedian stuff and my next set and stuff like that, and I'm like, I used to disassociate and go to weird places, but no, I was thinking about my next comedy routine. I was like, what the hell? It was really interesting, and I was telling my roommate that. I'm like, that's the first time I disassociated and started thinking about comedy routines. It was really weird. So, it was really funny, though, too, because then when I came back from disassociating, I forgot for like a half a second I was at a concert, and then the music was blaring. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in a concert. Whoops. I'm really not ashamed to talk about my disabilities and my mental health anymore. And with being in like comedy now and trying to be in it, it does make it funny because some of the shit I do, like the last set I just did, I talked about being high for the first time and got laughs out of that. I used to be kind of ashamed about being a pot smoker and, you know, everything. So I'm very proud now of just showing off what I used to do and making people laugh, and that's just what I want to do. So, but yeah, I'm excited where this journey is gonna go, but we'll see how far it goes, because I wanted to obviously go very far. I want to make something out of this. I want to go very, very far, but we're only in the very baby stages of everything, you know, one step at a time. That's what it takes. We start here, then go there, then go there, then go there, then go there, then go there. But I want to take you guys on that journey with me, because I want to come back to this and look at how far I was or came from where I am then to now, and I just want to see the progress. I'm going to eventually upload the original when I was practicing my open mic, because I did that. I did like practice runs of stuff, and it was really funny because I have a blooper of me saying, what the fuck is the name of the place? And it was so funny because I did it in front of my client. And she's also been my friend for like 17 years, so she's heard me swear. And luckily she didn't do it on camera, but she laughed at me. And I'm like, I gotta stop saying either, what the fuck is the name of the place, or, hello, insert bar name here, because I kept forgetting the name of the bar. And it was like, I gotta stop doing that, because then at the real show, I'm gonna say that. And luckily, I just gave up, and when I was at the bar, I just went, hello, 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 because then I didn't turn that into insert bar name here, because I almost did at the real show, and it would have been really bad if I had done that. I do notice something, though. I have the brightness really high up for when I record this, for the podcast, and then on top of it, I have a light over there, so I purposely have to keep my eyes wider-eyed, and then they're blaring off my glasses, so I feel like I'm widening my eyes more than I need to, and then if I just talk normally, my eyes feel very squinty, and I'm like, this can't make me look either stoned or more Asian than I need to. Like, I fucking need help with that. And then if I take my glasses off, I look more stoned. I'm like, great, I can't win here. But, you know, the other funny thing about when I'm starting out trying to be a comedian as well, that I've noticed, is I'm very in tune with wanting to learn. You know, I go to each each comedy show. I throw myself in the front row mainly because I can't hear very well. And it doesn't matter if you have a mic. It's more or less just the way I process stuff. I have auditory processing disorder, which basically means my brain doesn't process what it's hearing very well, which is great if you're a comedian, because you should be able to hear pretty well. So I try to get the front row seats if I can. So I get there pretty early for that reason. Well, went to a show at East Lynn and Berea. So we were in the back, which really was very tough for that one. For me, because I couldn't hear very well. Well, if you got close enough to me, I could hear you pretty well. It's like half the show I missed, because most of it I couldn't hear all that well. Luckily, I knew the people, so I knew most of their jokes already. But then some of it I couldn't hear, so I couldn't respond fast enough to laugh. And by the time I heard it, it was like, I shouldn't laugh, because then I'm going to be the awkward one. Like, shit, I heard it like a millisecond after everybody else. That's nice. But then I thought I misheard something because Brandon does a Be White joke, and if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you should watch Brandon White. He's pretty fucking funny. But I thought I missed it, and then I realized he never did it, and I'm like, wow, either I'm going that deaf or I'm just that stupid slow, and he didn't do it, but I thought I was that stupid slow that I had missed it. I'm like, no, I just didn't hear it because it was never said. I'm an extremely stupid special noodle. But that's how you realize that I don't hear, because not only was it not said, but if I had not heard it, I would have missed it completely too, so it didn't matter. And then all the chitter chatter, somebody was behind me, like at another table, so not only was there like the comedians in front of me, there were people behind me talking. So I was getting feedback from one end and feedback from the other, and it was just like this. It was like... And I'm like, you can forget me hearing what the hell I'm supposed to hear, because at this point I'm just like, it's like this, and I'm like, just tape it for me. I'll watch it on TiVo tomorrow. Although it was really funny that night. So we're driving back. Or no, it was the next morning, and I had to drive somewhere. And I kid you not, I was going to text Nancy about it. And I hear on the radio, straight up, oh, Ozempic. And I just busted out crying, laughing. And I just go, oh, Carmen. So, yeah, you can tell I already love the people I get to see and get to see perform, because I think about them, and that was like totally a Carmen thing, because it's in his bit. If you don't know what it is, you should check Carmen out. But anyway, you guys, that's the little backstory of how I started out and where I want to go, hopefully. I want to see this progress more and more each time. I want to go somewhere with this. I hopefully one day can get further and further. I want this to go somewhere. I do. The thought process of an ADHD ferret on crack, but I want this to go somewhere. I really do. I want to go very far with this, and I will take one day at a time with it, obviously, but I want to go far with this. I do want to go far with this. I plan to go far with this. So, and I do have a part-time job, do it every day, take care of all my animals. I have my own life, but somehow I made time to obviously try to start somehow being a comedian. And I help out my niece. I don't know how in the world I made somehow trying to become a comedian part of my life, but I did, and it's working out pretty damn well. So, I'm excited. So hopefully, guys, you can keep watching me on my journey, whether you are at the shows, whether you're watching the YouTube channel, or simply just know me personally and you're watching me flutter around like a one-winged butterfly. Thank you, guys. I'm Sky, and I'll talk to you the next time we see the show, okay? Bye.